These are the new Horizon 20 projectors from XGIMI, and we've got all three of the variations. So this is the Horizon 20 Max, this is the Horizon 20 Pro, and this is the Horizon 20 Base. And I've done some preliminary testing here, and it's kind of interesting the way that they've sort of positioned these. So first of all, they all have the exact same triple lasers. They're all RGB laser. And they all run the same color order normally, so there's not any differences there. They all have the dynamic black function, though we'll talk about how that works in a second here. And they all have the same lens shift and optical zoom. So the lens mechanisms are the same in each of them. But the Horizon 20 Max and the Horizon 20 Pro both have what XGIMI calls the red ring lens, and it is a significant upgrade over the Horizon 20 Base. These are noticeably sharper, like very easy to notice. These are some of the sharpest projectors I've seen, and this one is just, you know, sort of average. This is the base unit. The other thing that's interesting is the brightness measurements on them, or the brightness claims. The Max is supposed to be 5,700 lumens, the Pro is supposed to be 4,100 lumens, and the Base is supposed to be 3,200 lumens. That's not really what I measured. So I measured on their high performance mode, which is, I'll put all the footage at the end of the video so you can hear what the fans sound like. But on high performance mode, I was able to get 5,165 ANSI lumens from the Max, 4,268 from the Pro. So that's like 500 less than the Max is supposed to have, and 168 more than the Pro is supposed to have. And then the base unit got 3,185 max lumens. So that's pretty much exactly where it should be. That's 15 off of its, you know, advertised value. But none of that matters because nobody's going to use that mode. The high performance mode is really loud and it's really green shifted, so that's not important. What is important is the sort of maximum usable brightness that you can have, and I would say that's for, like, you know, watching sports and things like that. And so each of these also has a standard mode that's pretty decent, and then you can turn on this feature that's called Luminance Boost. And what Luminance Boost does is it adds yellow into the color order. So you do red, green, and blue for a normal DLP, and then this one has red, green, and blue, and then yellow, which is the composite color between red and green. And that adds some extra luminance to that, or that adds some extra brightness. So standard mode with Luminance Boost on, the Max was 3,161 lumens. The Pro was 2736 lumens, which is a 13% decrease in brightness from the Max to the Pro. And then from the Pro to the base unit, you go from 2736 to 2296, right? So about 2,300 usable lumens on the base unit, which is still excellent. Then the other thing to consider is the movie mode, which I turned off Luminance Boost, which is how you get the most sort of color accuracy and also the most contrast. And we'll talk about contrast numbers in a second here. But on movie mode, that's where you get the biggest difference. And the Max had 2,982 lumens on movie mode. The Pro had 2,261 lumens, and the base had 1,898 lumens on movie mode. So that's a pretty significant difference. That means that the base only has 64% of the brightness of the Max, and the Pro only has 76% of the brightness on the Max in what I would deem to be the most important of all of the settings, which is the movie mode that is fairly color accurate. The next thing to talk about is contrast, and this is where things get a little weird. Okay, so first of all, on the Max and the Pro that have the red ring lens, their native contrasts were almost identical. So the Max had a 1569:1 native contrast, and the Pro had a 1587:1 native contrast. And if you think that sounds low, that's because that is measured at their minimum throw distance. And in my video that I just did on where I had the Max in there, I measured it both at its minimum throw and maximum throw, and you can see that it results in a significant increase in the native contrast, putting it at max throw versus min. The Pro to the base unit, though, that's a big difference. That goes from 1587:1 native to 1361. So that is a decrease of about 13%. Again, that could be as a result of this red ring lens system. And the thing that really doesn't make any sense is the dynamic contrast on these, which can kind of be taken with a grain of salt right now because all three of these are going through firmware updates to get that dynamic contrast. The DBLE is what they call it, dynamic black level enhancement. All three of these are going through lots of firmware updates to try to get that working the way that XGIMI wants that to. And right now it's really not that great, and it has a noticeable blue sort of purple shift to it, and I don't really think you would want to use it in its current state, but XGIMI is working on it, and they say they've got updates that they're going to push very soon. We haven't seen them yet, but hopefully they'll be soon. So the weird part about that is the Max has a dynamic contrast of 12,200:1. Which is, again, at minimum throw, so maximum throw you would expect more. The weird thing then is that the Pro goes down to 5,500:1 on its dynamic system. So that's like over 50% less dynamic black on the Pro unit than the Max has. And that's pretty strange, but the strangest part about that is then if you then look at the base unit measured 17,350:1, which is 50%, 42% higher than the Max. But again, I think all these numbers don't matter because that's all just algorithm based, and it's how much power they can cut to the lasers, and so it really doesn't matter all that much. And the other big difference between these projectors that comes along with their extra brightness is the size of their power bricks. And so the Max comes with a absolutely huge power brick that says that it is 19 volts and 15.79 amps, so that's 300 watts. The Pro is 19 volts, 13.16 amps, so that's 250 watts. And the base unit comes with a relatively small unit here that is 19 volts, 9.47 amps, so that is about 180 watts. So 180 watts, 250 watts, 300 watts. Those are pretty substantially different. Right now on Amazon, they are priced at $23.99 for the Max, $19.99 for the Pro, and $13.99 for the base unit. And I can't really tell you which one to buy. They all have, some arguments to be made. I think the Max versus the Pro, I would personally choose the Max. You're looking at a difference of 3,000 accurate lumens on the Max versus 2,261 on the Pro, and that's a pretty big difference. But if you were looking at using just the less accurate standard with luminance boost on, you go about 13% difference. So if that's what you're looking for watching sports, or if you don't like using D65 accurate color or white balance, then the Pro might be a better shot. The base unit is obviously pretty different. It's got the different lens, but it holds its own as well with almost 2,000 lumens on movie mode. So compared to the Pro, if you're looking at watching movies, there's a difference between 2261 lumens and 1898 lumens. So that's not a big difference between the Pro and the base unit, and there's a big difference in price. The $600 difference in price versus $400 difference in price between the Max and the Pro. I'm going to end this video by putting all of the footage from my testing so you can go through and see, what the fans sound like and what the white balance looks like and the uniformity if you wanted to calculate that. But they're all very good. They were within 2% of each other, all at around 95%. I've got links to all three of them down in the description if you want to buy any of them. And as always, thanks for watching the hookup. Extras. Okay, this is the Horizon base model, minimum throw, movie mode. 684, 693, 681, 706, 694, 694, 685, 677, 674, and then just put it in standard mode here. Luminance boost on. $823, $836, $822, $851, $848, $838, $823, $823, $824. And then high power mode. I feel like that looks especially bad maybe on this one. $1149, $1164, $1153, $1175, 1176, 1159, 1132, 1141, 1137. $697, $0.51, which is interesting. That's the same as the other one. 0.005. Just for kicks, I'm going to block my... .04 if I block my lapel mic, my mic. Okay, this is the XGIMI Horizon Pro. And we are in standard mode, luminance boost off. That's what luminance boost changes the color order. Standard mode, and we're going to switch that actually to movie mode, I think is the one that I want. All right, here we go. Movie mode, luminance boost off, and DBLE off. $8.15, $8.39, $8.13, $8.26, $8.25, $8.19, $8.21, $8.03, $8.12, and this is on the minimum throw. We will also check standard with luminance boost on. It's a pretty bright mode. $981, 1004, $984, 1004, $1,001, $983, $1,002, $986, $976. And then last, we will do the brightness verification, so we'll put it on high power. $1,514, $1,567, $1,542, $1,551, $1,569, $1,542, 1,556, 1,552, 1,526. And then get this off of this mode. And now we're back to movie mode. And we're going to do contrast. It's 834. .52. DBLE on. And then we go here. Back it up all the way. .15. This lens is so sharp. Starting out in movie mode. Jeez. 1,073, 1,075, 1,055, 1,100, 1,098, 1,070, 1,085, 1,082, 1,086, 1128, 1140, 1119, 1167, 1160, 1136, 1150, 1154, 1155. Oops. $18.37, $18.47, $18.17, $19.01, $18.97, $18.73, $18.79, $18.81, $19.10. 1096. That one's 0.70. And then turn on DBLE. It's 0.09.